Hello everyone, I'm John Larson, one of the partners here at American Real Estate Investments. I'm joined by my good friend, Keith Weinhold from Get Rich Education. He has an excellent podcast that we tune into every week. Keith has joined us here in Dallas, all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, to come tour the Dallas market, meet the American Real Estate Investments team, tour our areas where we invest in, and check out some great investment properties. So for those of you that don't know about Get Rich Education, I'd like to introduce you to Keith at this point. And Keith, why don't you let the audience know a little bit about the podcast, some of the topics that you cover, and why it's a good kind of show to check out.
Yeah, well, thanks, John, and I appreciate being here at American Real Estate Investments in Dallas. My name's Keith Weinhold. You might know me because I'm the host of the Get Rich Education podcast and own GetRichEducation.com, where we use an abundance mindset to invest in real assets, especially real estate, for an outcome of lifestyle improvement. Not just more doors, not just more income, not just more time that opens up, but an outcome of lifestyle improvement, typically secured with real estate. So I've had the good fortune to host Robert Kiyosaki and most of the Rich Dad Advisors on my show, and I'm a contributing writer to the Rich Dad Advisors myself, and I often provide content to you so we can really help you build the passive income in your life so you can live a life better than you ever thought you could through Get Rich Education.
That's awesome. So at this point, let's get in the car, let's go drive around Dallas, check out the area, and then let's go check out some great properties. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Here we are at one of our investment properties in Lancaster, Texas, which is just south of Dallas. It's about a 15-minute ride into the Central Business District. This is one of our recently completed homes. We do a lot of homes like this here in Dallas. It's a standard 3-bed, 2-bath, just over 2,000 square feet. This property was built in 2003, so it's generally a newer built home. The sales price on this home, it's already under contract. These properties do move very quickly here in Dallas on my acquisition side and on my sell side. Once we get these homes under American Real Estate Investments ownership, we're already marketing them to our clients, and they're basically getting contracts in and just waiting for the renovation to be done so it's move-in ready for a tenant. But this home here will rent for $1,550, and the net operating income per month is just under $1,000 at $985, so really, really solid. If you look at the neighborhood here, Keith, I mean, this is a really solid A-class neighborhood. You see a lot of newer built properties here. It looks like people are taking care of their lawns. You can tell this isn't just a heavily renter type neighborhood, you know, investor-owned neighborhood. There's owner occupants in these neighborhoods as well. That's where we really like to strategically buy. That way, we just feel like the investment ends up being a lot safer for our investors. The exit strategy is there, solid exit strategy. You could easily sell any one of these homes on the MLS, you know, so that's why we really like to target neighborhoods just like this.
Just tell us a little bit about the renovations that were done in here.
Yeah, so pretty much a full cosmetic overhaul in this property, and that's what we're doing generally with the newer built homes that we're getting. Obviously, this house was built in 2003. You know, there is no need to replace the roof on this property, nothing structurally wrong with the home. So this property here obviously got the full cosmetic overhaul, which was paint, flooring. If you look, all the light fixtures, the fans, everything is brand new.
And it matches.
Exactly. We want everything to match, everything. When a tenant comes in this house, a prospective tenant, we want them to kind of be wowed, like, oh my gosh, everything's new, everything looks good. This way we can get the property leased quickly, we can get it leased at the top of market value. Obviously, we want to command as much rent as we can for our owners so the cash flow increases. Yeah, we do this epoxy coating on our kitchen counters. Sometimes we'll buy our houses, there's granite already in place. Obviously, we're gonna leave that, but we're not necessarily gonna put granite in a rental property. It's a rental. We want it to look nice, but we don't wanna put in too many expensive high-end finishes, right? So we have a different color scheme that we'll use here with this epoxy finish, which kind of makes it, give it a feel of like a granite, but obviously not expensive like granite. We did put carpet in the bedrooms. You know, the tenants do kind of like to have carpet in the bedrooms. They kind of prefer that. We do like to use the plank when we can, a majority of the plank, because that stuff will withstand more turnovers, right? It's just a little bit more durable. Carpet can tend to get dirty from time to time. It might only last 2 to 3 turnovers, right, at most. We're in Seagoville right now, which is actually just east of where we were and southeast to the city of Dallas. We're a little bit farther out from the city. I would say it's about a 20 to 25 minute drive into the city from here. This is another kind of style of home that we do here in Dallas.
Another thing that finds us here in a place like Seagoville, Texas, here just southeast of the city center of Dallas, that's because oftentimes right the inner city of Dallas is where we kind of have that Class D or low-end C property where we just can't really even get a tenant that will reliably pay the rent.
Right.
And then also we don't want to go north of Dallas because we're also on the other end there, right, as I've found out from our visit here, because you might get the same rent amount that you do here in some of those homes, but the purchase prices extend to a much higher extent such that it's not making sense for an investor anymore like a property in Seagoville does.
Exactly. So yeah, we try and avoid the inner city neighborhoods around the U.S. It's just, you're dealing with more distressed properties. You're dealing with lower income earning tenants, which generally can set you up for a higher risk profile. And then also, you're not going to have a professional management company like an American Real PM that's going to be willing to manage homes and tenants like that. And great point to touch on why we don't purchase in areas in the north. Like, if people are doing the research on Dallas, Plano is going to be an area that really comes up in conversation as a really, booming economy right now. A lot of Fortune 500 companies moving into that area. Problem is just the property values up there are just too high, which also makes the property taxes higher, which can really, negatively affect cash flow. But then also, a 2,000 square foot home up in Plano or Frisco really doesn't rent for that much more than a 2,000 square foot home in a Lancaster, a Cedar Hill, a Seagoville. It's quite funny, but that is the truth. I really appreciate you coming out again, coming and checking out American Real Estate Investments, staying a couple days with us in Dallas. I just kind of want to wrap things up and just, get your 10,000 foot view on what you've seen here in Dallas during your stay. What was your initial impression of the market, and how do you feel about the market as a whole?
Yeah, well, it really starts with the market, and the market is really why we are here in Dallas today, standing with each other right now. So, you're seeing a lot of business-friendly tax incentives that continue to bring substantial Fortune 500 companies that continue to bring jobs and tenants to provide durable streams of income for investors. And so besides the business-friendly tax incentives, we have a very low cost of living, and that's really attracting both businesses and residents alike. We also have a very central location in the United States, and that's really preferable to do business as more and more companies do business across borders and outside of time zones. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why we moved the company down here, and that's why we've been in this market since 2012. So great points that you brought up. And let's just take that into the actual investment property itself. A-class properties, generally newer built homes. What did you think? What was your impression of the homes when you walked through them today? Did you think that they were, high quality, durable investment properties, something that an investor isn't going to have a ton of maintenance issues or high capital expenditures within the first 5 years of ownership?
Yeah, we have substantial renovations to the property, and I think the other thing that's really a market differentiator in Dallas-Fort Worth is you typically have newer stock here. A lot of these homes were built in the last 20 years or less, so you really have the type of home that's not going to have nearly as many of the functional obsolescence problems that you might have with some properties in other markets. And we're really seeing an adequately staffed company that's really communicative and really good on the outreach. For example, you invited me down here, and you guys are also really good in your outreach too, as far as being transparent and attending events and making yourselves very accessible, just like you did with me today.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the kind words, Keith, and we appreciate you coming down. And hey, look forward to bringing you down again next time, huh?
It's been a great trip. Thanks so much.
Thank you.